Hi, I'm Hannah with Felicity Designs. I'm going to give a quick tutorial here on how I'm going to make this dress short-sleeved for summer. Starting with this dress, which also had an issue with the elastic here, as you can tell, so that's actually not a huge problem since I'm going to be cutting this anyway. Okay, here's the dress. And this dress, I like the length of these short sleeves, so I'm going to use that as a guide. Now when you're doing this, I'll show you here. You want to line the elastic shoulders up here, kind of make sure everything is nicely lined up. And then down here, this is where you're going to end up gathering it. But you want to leave enough to make a little hem. You're going to make a hem here, and then you will insert the elastic. So this is actually a little different. So let's see, what I'm going to do for this one is we're going to make a hem that's about this wide. So then we have room to make a little casing for the elastic. And so we are going to want to cut down. That's about 1.5 inches. So we're going to want to cut down 1.5 inches beyond where you want your sleeve to fall. So I want my sleeve to fall here. So I'll measure 1.5 inches past. And here we go. Once I get the little bit here, I'm just going to use what I cut as a guide so I don't cut the sample dress that I'm using here. Scary, but you can do it. It'll make it so much better. Other side here, I'm going to use this piece as a guide. This is what I just trimmed off. Okay, so my sleeves are both finished now. If you look here, you can see that there's a finished edge and there's actually 2 rows of stitching so that when I put the elastic in the middle casing here, there will be a little ruffle at the bottom. And I left a hole open here underneath the sleeve where I can slide the elastic through. So I wanted to try this on so I make sure that I get the elastic right that I want to put in the sleeve. So here's a little sample piece. Just gonna slide it kind of around my arm here where it's gonna fall. This will probably be a little bit too big, which is fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the dress, slide this through the casing, and then I'll come put it on again and see exactly how I want it to be. Okay, so I actually have this dress on inside out, but that way I can kind of adjust better here. So I have a little safety pin where the elastic meets here, and I'm going to adjust the gathers in the elastic on this sleeve. I don't want it to be super tight, but I also want it to have a nice little ruffle to it. So we're just gonna mess around with this for a minute till you get it how you like it. Okay, I'm gonna adjust those gathers a little bit here. Testing, make sure I can pick up babies and all the things. Okay, I think that feels pretty good. So this one I want to be a little bit tighter too. Okay, a little adjusting, and when I take this off I will probably look at the elastic on both sides and just kind of make sure that they look even. But I'm kind of liking how this looks. It feels pretty good. Dance test. And it's got some cute little ruffle, but I just think that this is going to be so much nicer for summer than the long sleeves it had before. All right, so we're going to sew the elastic next and then sew up the casing and we'll be all done. All right, I'm just going to make sure I have roughly the same amount of elastic that I'm taking off of each side. I'm feeling this one is a good deal more, because these pieces were pretty much even when I started, actually, with the difference from that. Not even. Okay, so we're gonna go for it. I feel pretty good about that. All right, and I am using I think it's a 1/8 inch elastic here. It is pretty thin. It's also very hard to get your needle right down in the middle here. Okay, our elastic is good and secure. Trim off the ends there. Just gonna let it go in there because it's pretty thin. All right, make sure that you stretch the fabric as you sew this casing back together here. One lovely side done. Let's get this other one done real quick here too. And close up that casing. Okay, she's all done. I think that this is an amazing transformation and I just love it so much better with the short sleeves. It's gonna be so good for summer. They're so much cooler, and just having less fabric I think is good. And honestly, this short puff sleeved with this little ruffle here, I think it just goes with the dress so well. Super cottagecore, really flattering. It's lightweight for summer. This one doesn't have a lining, so it's honestly perfect. I just love it so much better. And hopefully you guys can transform some of... I just love it so much better. And hopefully you guys can transform some of the dresses that you have that are long sleeves and make them short sleeve for summer, because I think that this is just so good. All right, thanks for watching. Have fun with your transformation.